Oh my goodness! I actually got to play the SPYRO Reignited Trilogy. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Canadian Guy here, and I am back after a long weekend at Fan Expo 2018 in Toronto. So the night before I left for Fan Expo, I received a message from a friend of the channel telling me that she was at the show Thursday night and got to play a demo of the SPYRO Reignited Trilogy and absolutely loved it. I immediately started to freak out and wanted to know more information. We talked for a little bit, but there was still this little feeling of apprehension and terror with thoughts like, what if she's lying? What if it's only a Thursday exclusive? What if the game station breaks down? I practically got no sleep over it. But I got up in the morning, grabbed my bags and family, and raced to the train station. When we finally got to Fan Expo, I went to the back area like my friend suggested and didn't see a booth or banner for Spyro like Spider-Man or Black Ops 4. I walked up to the PlayStation rep and asked, "Is there a Spyro demo around here?" He grinned and simply said, "There is a Spyro demo." He took me to the back close to the virtual reality area, and there it was, playing before my eyes, the SPYRO Reignited Trilogy. Not only that, but the same demo from Gamescom. So I revisited this booth 5 times and played all the levels multiple times. I also played the same 3 levels on the original Spyro the day I got back, and I believe I have all my thoughts compiled and composed. Now sadly, I could not get any footage of myself playing, but here are a few pics of me playing the game with my son fast asleep on my chest, just to prove that I actually played it. So first off, let's talk about the visuals. The visuals, as most of you could probably tell, are absolutely stunning. But when you're handling the game, instead of watching a YouTube video about it, and it's just such a different experience, there just seems to be more to it when you actually get a hold of it. Now, of course, everyone has seen footage of Spyro by now. They already have determined how they feel about the game's look. But what about the controls? I honestly think this is one of the main reasons people have come to this video. How does the controls feel? And I'm gonna be honest, it's not quite the same as the original, but in a good way. Remember, Toys for Bob had no source code for this game. They had to rebuild everything from the ground up. Their tool Spyroscope helped with the geometry of the game to be the same along with the hitboxes. So here are my thoughts. When I popped into Stonehill, it took me about 5 minutes to get the feel for the controls, because the first thing I noticed was that Spyro felt like he could turn on a dime, when before he felt a bit clunky and choppy to do a sharp turn. Reignited Spyro does it with ease. So this does mean that the controls are a bit different. Now, this doesn't mean that it's different as in not recognizable, but imagine if literally the same control scheme was given a brand new coat of programming paint with a few small things adjusted to make it more modern, especially the right analog stick. The use of it is significant. When before you had a hard time turning on a dime and then moving the slow camera with the shoulder buttons, you can now turn sharp and snap back to behind Spyro incredibly fast at the same time of your action. This in turn really helped my gameplay experience. I was able to clear levels at an incredible rate of speed simply because I was not fighting with the slow camera and could see if anything or anyone was attempting to attack me or if there's any items that I missed. Of course, if you are a nostalgic purist, you can switch it back to the bumpers, moving the camera around. Overall though, the best way to describe the controls would be familiar yet new. It's borderline like experiencing a brand new game, but also a familiar one all in the same time, and I absolutely enjoyed it thoroughly. Next up, I did want to talk about the use of the L3 and R3 buttons, the thumbsticks when you push them down. The left analog stick actually is now the gem tracker, which has been implemented in the first game. Just push down on the stick and Sparks does a little twirl, points, and locks in the direction where there is another gem. Release the pressure and Sparks goes right back to your side. Now, remember how when you would press triangle and you would look into Spyro's point of view? Well, it's still on triangle, but it's also on the right analog stick. Just press down on the right analog stick and you go into Spyro's point of view. You also no longer have to hold the button. You just press it once to toggle it and then press it again to go back to normal. Now, I don't know what trickery is being done on the game, but it looks like it's close to 60 frames per second. But in reality, apparently it's only 30. But for some reason, the gameplay feels so unbelievably smooth. Perhaps it is more than 30 frames, but less than 60. I am unsure overall, but all I know is that it feels so much smoother than a lot of the games that we see today. The music is absolutely outstanding and the dynamic track is just such a nice touch. You can hear the music make an ever so slight increase of pace when Spyro is charging, with some extra drums added. When you are standing still, the music fades out and becomes more ambient, and when you enter a building it becomes echoey and just has a great touch overall. The use of Spyroscope is amazing, but I also think I understand why some of the areas feel a bit smaller or bigger compared to the originals. And I think the reasoning is that they adjusted the character models and geometry to the actual hitboxes. See, in the original game, sometimes it would seem like you hit something, but for some reason it didn't register, like as if you didn't. And likewise, sometimes it felt like you missed, but somehow it hit? The hitboxes felt the same, but things did look different. So my thinking is that they took the not so quite right hitboxes and changed the characters and geometry, along with Spyro's Flame Breath, to better fit the hitboxes so that it still feels the same as the original, but you got a lot less of those moments where you felt like you landed on a platform or you're confused on how you killed something. The overall accuracy feels a lot better. Now, I have no complaints about Spyro 1 nor Spyro 2. However, as I played through Sunny Villa, something didn't quite feel right. The regular level itself was fine, but the skate park, there was something off about it. Now, of course, I could not compare and contrast at the time because I did not have the original game there to play, but I could not put my finger on it. So when I got home from Fan Expo, I booted up my original games and played through Stonehill, Idle Springs, and Sunny Villa. I tested things to make sure that if things felt right, and both Idle Springs and Stonehill pretty much hit all the marks. But as I played through Sunny Villa, I realized what the problem was with the Spyro 3 skateboarding level. The jumping is way overtuned. Let me explain. At the top of the skate park, there's two ramps, the red and blue one. In the Red Lizard Challenge, you are supposed to hit all the lizards, one of them being on a balloon that you're supposed to hit with your max jump off the edge of the red ramp. In the original, you had to jump right at the edge and you would hit the lizard perfectly square. However, if you did the same thing in the Reignited Trilogy, you actually jump over the balloon and miss the red lizard entirely. The reason this stuck out to me is simply because I know the challenge so well and have played it over and over and over again, like many other Spyro fans. But when I launched off the red ramp, I kept missing the lizard, which confused me. I thought it was just me though at first. However, a cool girl that I know from my local EB Games / GameStop was trying it as well, and she too is a huge Spyro fan. But she also kept missing the lizard. To hit the lizard, you actually have to jump almost halfway up the ramp, or don't jump at all, and on the downward angle, spam circle over and over again to just barely hit the lizard. When tested on the original, I could not even come close to hitting the lizard without jumping right at the edge of the ramp. I have been honest with you guys and Toys for Bob, and I think they have done such a wonderful job with the game. Everything about it is just so good, but in all honesty, I feel that in terms of the gameplay mechanics in the skateboarding level, it needs another look overall. It's still fun and satisfying, but being able to jump so high puts a dampening on the challenge as a whole and changes the whole aspect of the actual challenge. But overall, I played the demo 5 times and loved it every single time. I had such a goofy smile on my face the whole time, and I was incredibly pleased with the gameplay, and my only concern being the skateboarding bits, specifically the jump. Anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. Cue the extra.
Whee!